What is going on, everybody? David Productions 345 here. Today I got another video for you guys, and it's going to be about the Tazer. So I always talk about the Tazer, but I never really did a full video on it. So today is going to be that video. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into it because I hate long intros. So first of all, I'm going to show you guys where my Tazer is. It's not in the usual spot, it's in my trunk. So let me show you guys that real quick. Alright guys, so here's my Tazer, and it's in the trunk because this is the Z-Automotive Bypass. So the thing is, on newer vehicles like 2018 plus, you need this in the trunk or else your Tazer will not work because of some security module. So I just did this because it's easier for me to have in the trunk, so I don't have to worry about it. I can just always leave it plugged in and just have stuff in my OBD2 port still. So this is the Tazer. It's a pretty small device and it fits right here. So if you guys want to install this type of video about how to install the Z-Automotive Bypass, this is not going to be a how-to video. This is just going to be some of my favorite features with the Tazer. So without further ado, guys, there's a Tazer. I have some stuff pulled up on my phone real quick. I'm going to just be talking about some of my favorite features with the Z-Automotive Tazer. So basically, to activate the Tazer, press the back button and cancel button on the 11 to 14s and the audio screen, and then it'll show up an option underneath, and you can start scrolling through the menus using the same two buttons. And then to press OK, to select a certain feature, press the back and then the on-off cruise button. Definitely one of the best things about these cars, and it's only for Mopars, guys. I just wanted to mention that as well. So the reason the Tazer is important is because it has some features that it gives the RTs and V6s that some of the higher trim models have. So for example, this is a 2013 RT. So some of the examples that this car can get include SRT pages. You can enable cluster swap. If you have an all-wheel drive car like I do, you can enable rear-wheel drive. You can force it. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into this. So I have a PDF pulled up. It's a Z-Automotive PDF, so I'm going to be just reading some of this stuff out to you guys, some of my favorite features, just because I'm not going to go through every single one because there's a lot of them. So I'm going to leave this linked down below, this PDF right here. So there's two different kinds of settings for the Tazer. There's live settings and then there's not live settings. So the live settings mean the Tazer always has to be plugged in, and then the other settings, the not live settings, mean that the Tazer doesn't have to be plugged in. So some of my favorite settings include SRT pages, sport mode, line lock, all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive, cluster swap, light show. So I'm going to be going through these real quick. So the first one, SRT pages. So this is a 2013 RT. They don't come with SRT pages. SRT set, which enables SRT performance pages on 8.4 Uconnect, and then performance set enables SRT performance timers. So this is in the SRT set, which enables the SRT pages, and then the timers is the performance set, which has to do with that. So the timers are like these, 0 to 60, 0 to 100, eighth mile, quarter mile, stuff like that, braking distance. So this is in the performance set, which is pretty cool. My other cluster had this as well. I'm going to be talking about mostly my year settings, but there's other settings for the 15 plus, like super track pack enable, paddles. So the coolest thing about the Tazer, guys, is that if you don't have certain features like fog lights, paddle shifters, you can enable them with a Tazer, so you don't have to go to a dealership and have your car reflashed. So that's cool because it saves you money. So what I mean is, if you add fog lights, a backup camera, or paddle shifters to your ride, you don't have to go to the dealership. You can just use the Tazer to enable them. Also, you can like mess with the drive mode in the newer cars, and then the transmission, and then the shift light in eco mode. So two more features that are cool include the fog light drop, which means that the fog lights won't drop when you turn on your high beams. And then another one is DRL drop. So it disables DRL lights while turn signals on. I don't know, I guess if you want to play with that, I guess. And then some of the other things you can do are splash screens. So that's just mainly for the newer cars, like the 15 and up ones. For the 11 to 14, for the old cluster, they had like an SRT splash screen that just said SRT here, and on the radio, like it just says SRT like that. So that's pretty cool. I've heard that some of the newer cars, once you change it, you can't really change it back to your old splash screen. So if you have a Scat Pack and you do a Hellcat one, you can't get the Scat Pack back, so beware of that. A remote window, which means on the keys, when you press the unlock and lock button for the remote window, it can go up and down. And then easy exit is one of the features, which means that when you turn your car off, your seat moves back, your steering wheel goes up, and there's just a bunch of other stuff in here. So those are most of the not live settings that you can just enable, and they'll just always be there. And also, I forgot to mention the sport mode. So this car The 2011 to 14s, the sport mode enable just gives you a sport button right there, and also it shows sport there. So I forgot to mention this, but my car drives way better in sport mode. The shifts are firmer and the shifts are later. And for the newer cars, there's a bunch of different options. There's a sport mode, there's a track mode, there's an eco mode, there's a custom mode. You can play around with the settings about how you want the car to drive. Problem is with the 11 to 14s, they don't have any of that. They really only have the sport mode. And then the SRTs, I think of this year, the 13 14s have sport and track. So it's a 2-mode sport button. But for these RTs, you can only enable just the sport. The thing is, once you do the cluster swap, you can't see the sport mode indicator on there, which is alright. But so obviously right here, sport 5-speed, sport 8-speed. This is the 5-speed transmission. The 8-speed has like the T handle thing. It's like all electric basically. For me personally, I've heard that if you turn both of them on, it'll give you the PRND when you do the cluster swap. If you turn on one of them, sometimes it doesn't. So we're gonna move on to the live features now, guys, which means that the Tazer has to stay plugged in for them to work. One of them is the cluster swap. So I talk about this in almost every video. Just one of the best features in my opinion for these cars, just because it looks way better. So with that, you have to have the Tazer always plugged in, and then once you have it plugged in, all you need to press is cancel and traction kill, and then it'll enable cluster swap mode, and it'll just say traction control sport on the screen. So that's one of the main things for the Tazer is cluster swap mode. All-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, as I mentioned before, guys, you can determine whether this car is forced in the rear-wheel drive or forced in the all-wheel drive. But basically it's just cool because if you want to just have your car in rear-wheel drive and not worry about anything, you can just do that, or you can just force all-wheel drive to always keep it in all-wheel drive. As I mentioned before, you can just hit the traction off button and it'll automatically go into all-wheel drive, so that's not a big deal. Also, line lock, which means you can do a burnout, which is pretty cool. I'm not gonna do that here because as you guys can see, it's a gravel road right here. It's we need to find a place to park. So that's cool. I did that a couple times. I think I did it twice. It worked pretty well. So basically with the line lock, it says uses ABS solenoid to lock the front wheels for burnouts. To do the line lock, you have to press the back button and then the cruise plus button on the 2011 to 14s, and then it just says continue to hold either one, and then once the ABS light and the line lock on start flashing, you just press the brake twice and then press the gas pedal, and then the wheels will brake traction, and then you just hold this back button until you're done. I did that twice. It worked pretty well. I'll include clips in this video real quick to show you guys what that is. And then next I want to talk about the brake hold. So that's when you're at a red light, you just press the brakes all the way down to the ground, and then it holds the car. But I imagine it works. Like, it worked pretty well for me, but sometimes it like kind of automatically went off, so I just wouldn't trust that personally, but that's an option as well. And then the last thing is light show. So I'm gonna get out of the car real quick and show you guys what I mean by that. So to do that, you just have to press the unlock button twice, lock, and then press the unlock button again. You guys can see the lights are flashing like that, so it's pretty cool. Like, and then you can press the unlock button to cycle through the different ones. Like, this is one of my favorites. Looks pretty good. Press it again. So there's 6 options for this. You can do 6 different light shows, and then it also does it for the rear tail lights as well. So it does look pretty cool. This is like the police one kind of, so be careful when you're doing this, guys. But I feel like it looks really cool. And this is the next one. And then the final one. So you guys, that was the light show, and that's one of the main features a lot of people want the Tazer for. I don't use it too much just because it's not really good for the lights. Light show isn't really good for like HIDs and LEDs, so don't do it too much. But definitely it's really cool, especially at night, like you'll see it a lot better. That's it, guys. Just wanted to mention some of the favorite things for the Tazer, since I never did a Tazer video really, even though I had cluster swap videos. So anyways, guys, we are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you turn your notifications on, share the video with your friends, and that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.